Hello, Dandavat Pranams to all of the devotees. Hare Krishna. This is Vaidehi live from the Soquel Seva Ashram. Happy Monday. I'm actually going to take this off because I can hear him banging on the ear pods. So it's been quite some time since I've gone live. For those of you that were joining every Monday before, you know that every Monday at 8 p.m. I was going live here from the Soquel Seva Ashram. And after a series of events and some things that had to be taken care of, I had to pause all of my various services to tend to these things. And last time we spoke, um, it was during the time of Sureshri Didi's passing. And also at that time, my mom was undergoing heart surgery, Kalindi, and luckily she is okay and here at the Seva Ashram, happily doing her service. But I took some time to really focus on taking care of her. And then after that, also catching up on all the things that I had to tend to for myself. And so here we are back. What month are we in? We are in June, just about to begin the month of July in just a few days. And there are actually some really wonderful news updates that you've probably seen on the Facebook page. We have our Govinda Mela happening in July through the 26th. I believe it's starting on the 19th. You can find the information by scrolling through the news feed, and you'll see several posts and information about the festivities. So if you are watching this live now, or whether you are watching the replay at a later point in time, we are inviting all of the devotees to come and spend some time here at the Seva Ashram to have the association of our devotees and, most importantly, our lordships who are here, who are regularly being maintained by the devotees that are living here and the devotees in the community, everybody working together to do so. And we got this really special opportunity to spend that time. Excuse me. And so I hope that you can all make it and spend some time here and really come prepared, come with questions, come with things to share, come with your association, and let's really celebrate a beautiful summer. I know that there are a lot of things happening in the world right now, a lot of protests, a lot of kind of heavy things, and sometimes that heavy energy can be um, quite burdensome, right? It can feel heavy on our own shoulders, on our own psyche, our own mind, and it can be easy, just speaking from experience, to forget. It can be very easy to forget that we have the wonderful shelter of the devotees, of the holy name, of our divine transcendental knowledge. And so, really, I have this opportunity to share here and be here live on Mondays um, as an opportunity for my own practicing life. And if I can be inspiration for anybody else, then that's great. But really doing this in service. And it helps with smaranam, right? With remembrance, one of the 9 processes of devotional service. And so Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardhan Maharaj has been asking me for, oh my gosh, so many months. When will you give class again? And all of the devotees have been asking me, when are you going to do your Monday class? And I've been saying, I'm coming, I'll be ready soon. And after having and experiencing, getting COVID at the beginning of this month, so please excuse me if I'm still sneezy or dealing with some of the after effects. I really took the time to meditate as I was laying there for several, maybe 10 days, on what was truly important, what was most important. And mind you, I can be a very busy person, teaching 7 classes a week, running my own business, my own coaching business, taking care of my mother, myself. And so I've felt completely overextended during, the last months of last year and into this year, and felt like I just couldn't handle one more thing, right? And as I was laying there, I realized and really reflected upon what was truly most important. And it was that realization that inspired me to, there's no better time than now to continue with the service of just sharing. And I do want to preface by saying that, this class time, which will continue Mondays at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, is a time to share reflections, to share stories from my experience as an aspiring devotee that has grown up in the mission. I haven't just grown up knowing about Bhakti or having devotee parents, but I've literally lived in the ashram and was raised in the ashram, from the ashram, the ISKCON temple in Venezuela, to the temples in Santa Cruz, California, and San Jose, California. And then, of course, spending several years living in India with Srila Govinda Maharaj, and also traveling to various centers in service, participating with the preaching programs there. And so I was raised in the ashram life and raised in this tradition and this practice. And so what I share in these live streams are those experiences, and also my own reflections of the wonderful Shastra and practicing life that I get to experience in this particular birth. And so do note that that's what's going on here. And I just hope that it can be inspiring and encouraging. Before we begin tonight's topic, I just wanted to take a look at who's here live, and I just wanted to say hello. Oh my gosh, Sadhu-Sundari, Sonia's here. Hello, Dandavat. So good to see you here online. I haven't seen you. I don't even know if you're in Santa Cruz. Where are you these days? Feel free to comment. I'd love to know where you are. Where are you watching from today, Sadhu-Sundari? DH Das. Dandavat Pranam Prabhu, what is your name and where are you watching from? Please comment in the comment section below. I'd love to know. Divya Shakti is watching, and I'm guessing it is the one and only Divya Shakti, my inspiration for a lot of the things that I do. So happy to see you. I really miss you. Oh my gosh. So actually, Divya, I've been thinking about you. And I'm gonna cry because I remember this moment that I had with you. We were at a festival. We had snuck into a festival and we were doing kirtan. And Jaya Lakshmi was singing on the stage. And I was just watching her, felt like crying. And you came up to me and you said, "You want to do that, don't you? You want to be up there singing, don't you?" And I looked at you and I was like, and I just started crying, and I'll never forget that moment. And something about that moment was so special. And I'm happy to say that I've been creating my music and I'm actually getting booked to perform at festivals. Um, and the music that I share is mantra, and it's just taking one expression, one phrase from our beautiful songs and scriptures or things that we remember, and just repeating that. And people love this music. And so I was just down at the temple the other day and I was telling Maharaj, just sharing with Janardhan Maharaj some of the updates about the music and about some of the visions that I have for sharing about Bhakti. And I was saying, now we don't have to sneak into festivals. That's my goal, is that I can just bring the devotees to festivals and they become a part of the performance. And I tell everybody, you're going to see these people walking around offering you snacks and books and incense. They're part of this experience. And I'm, of course, thinking about you. So I hope we get to experience that very, very soon. Yes, in fact, if you are going to be here in September, please let me know. Okay, so let's see who else is here. I just had to share that story because, oh, it's like I feel why I'm alive. Okay, let's see. Dipta Krishna Das. Dipta Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams. You're watching from Mauritius. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. All the way from Mauritius, please send our regards from the Soquel Seva Ashram to all of the devotees there, to yourself and your family. And Yubarani is watching. Dandavat Yubarani. Hare Krishna. Please comment. Where are you watching from? Again, let us know where you are watching from. And we'll get to see that shortly as you comment. Please do ask questions. Please do make comments so that I can engage with you. I do encourage in these live streams that I do participation. This is a time where we get to talk together. I may be telling stories and sharing something, but I do like to be able to engage with you. So please don't hesitate to comment, to ask questions. And if there are any questions that I can answer and you have questions, please do post them. And I will do my best to answer those questions. If I do not feel qualified to answer your question, no problem. We will reach out to a qualified Vaishnav to help answer your question. Okay. So before we begin, I just want to offer vandana to our Guru Varga. Om Gyana Timirandasya Gyana Gyana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. And my respects to all the Vaishnavas. Bancha kalpatruvyaschа kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. And all the Vaishnavas before, now, and after. Sakala Vaishnava Pare More Namaskari De Kichu Aparad Nahuka Mad Hoyachin Hoyven Prabhu Jato Bhaktajan Bandana Koryami Sabara Charan. And of course, we know the Panchatattva. Let's please chant together. Let's invoke. We know, we've heard that where we come together with these invocations, spiritual world descends. So please chant with me. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. And the Mahamantra together. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. And all glories to Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj, of course Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, and all of the Vaishnavas, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and of course Srila Bhakti Nirmalacharya Maharaj. And I still need to become acquainted, but Srila Bhakti Niriha Tilak Maharaj, if I said his name properly. Just offering respects to all of our Vaishnav acharyas. And we have more. So let's see. I just wanted to share the topic. I don't necessarily have a title so far, but it has to do with a conversation that I was having with a devotee. And in this conversation, we realized that there can be so many ways to become distracted from our practicing life. And we know and are experiencing more and more as the heat turns up on this cauldron of material existence that Kamala Dalajala, Jivana Talamala, right? That this life is tottering like a drop of water on the leaf of a lotus, and that at any moment, and so with the time and the moment that we have, how are we engaging our existence? How are we engaging our gifts, our blessings, our life force? Really, really important consideration. And this kind of stream of consciousness also came from, like I mentioned earlier, the time that I've spent just being sick, right? And laying here with COVID. And which again, I'm still recovering from. So excuse me if I'm sneezing and whatnot. So one thing that I realized once upon a time, and it was an epiphany, is that, wow, mantra, right? Man, so through the mind, tra, through the mind, we are able to connect with the transcendental plane. And through the engagement of our heart, mouth, voice, thought, right? Our function of communication, right? Our ability to speak, we are able to invoke through these prayers and blessings that have been given us to our Guru Varga. We've been able to invoke and repeat and chant mantra. We can literally at any moment think about the deities in the temple room, or our association with our Gurudev, or some beautiful quote that we read earlier in the day. And the mere engagement with that is medicine, is transcendental, is divine. Abhaya charanaravidare, right? Clasping onto the lotus feet of our guardians, right? Hold on to that, because this destroys all fear. And so in this world full of fear, full of suffering, full of wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 of COVID, and all of the associated trials and tribulations that are permeating all the different spheres of existence, right? Adi Atmika, Adi Daivika, Adi Bhautika. We can either engage our life force, our mind, in kind of, we can give our attention to that and then get rolled in that wave, in that boulder, right? And have it snowball, right? So we can join like an escalator, right? Or like a big boulder tumbling down. If we give our mind there, it goes and it gets flattened and it continues rolling and rolling, and it can go on forever and ever and ever and ever at full speed. And that is one of the dangers, right, of the idle mind, right, of the mind. And if the mind is distracted and malengaged, then so will be the tongue, and the rest of the senses will follow, right? We can either give our mind there and let it snowball into a huge experience and have it, take all the rest of our existence with it. And we see many examples of that in the world, and also sometimes amongst our community, right? Our devotional family, that where we can get caught up in maybe the gossip or chewing on the chewed, the gramya katha, right? And then our life becomes absorbed in that, and before we know it, the way we are using and engaging our life energy is talking about other people, whether it's on the phone or a tablet or face to face, gossiping about other people. And then we develop this quality of, we've heard about the drain inspector, of becoming a critic, a connoisseur of people's faults. And then we are now, that is our new gig. We are constantly engaged in conversation about other people and their faults. And then before we know it, day after day is going by and we are engaged in this. And that includes also, the dramas of the world and all the trials and tribulations and things that we are experiencing. So we can either do that, right, and stay in that frequency, or we can choose something else. We can choose to flip the script, the page, switch the channel, and realign, re-engage our mind with a frequency that is more fulfilling to engage with, a frequency that will, rather than take us down this hill at full speed with the boulder getting squashed, right, which I am relating to what happens when we get caught up in the gossip, the chewing of the chewed, the talking about the dramas of this material world. Not to undermine them. We're not undermining them. They are real. They are heavy. They affect people, war, right? Famine, death. We're not at all belittling this, but rather we are remembering that this is a part of the trap. It is a part of the trap. And, we think of often, and maybe I'll speak for myself, but the way that Maya has been shared in, just, common classes and lectures and, hearing about Maya is the seductive enchantress coming to distract, right? But Maya can be more than that. And that is one of the ways that Maya can get us, right? Is by entrapping our minds, our life force, our ability of speech, right? Conversation, of expression in the chewing of the chewed, right? And so this is what came up in the conversation that I was sharing, is that Maya can oftentimes show up in ways that we may not have expected. And this conversation is not about Maya. This conversation is about our ability, our gift, and our resources and tools that we have been given by the blessings of our Guru Varga to disconnect from that channel, to disconnect from that frequency. And so at any moment, our mind can go wherever it pleases. At any moment, we can choose to engage our conversation in something negative and something that is the chewing of the chewed, if you will, or we can choose by becoming more conscious and aware, and by practicing more and, self-observation, self-correction, self-curing, right? Curing thyself. We can actually become the victors and not the victims of our environment and our material existence, which can be the default mode. We can actually customize this experience and choose the settings that we desire and make our default mode become smaranam, right? The remembrance of those higher vibrational frequencies, experiences, and pastimes. And so, how do we get that? How do we experience that? And that is through the practices of devotional service. And so I have my computer here, and I as soon as I said my computer, it went black. Give me just a second. I opened up these 9 stages of Bhakti Yoga. And so, the first stage is faith, Shraddha, developing faith, right? And the second stage is Sadhu-Sanga, association with the devotees. And then the third stage is Bhajana Kriya, performance of devotional service. And as I was thinking about, obviously it's been several months since I've had the opportunity to share here. Almost a year, 9 months to be exact. I counted, I was thinking about all this the other night. And I got to experience life without having the regular, I was regularly the fortune of doing puja here at the temple and doing the classes. And I also had kirtan workshops at the local yoga studio, and also kirtan workshops happening with the devotees on the beach. And I had to pause a lot of these things and kind of focus a little bit on just the survival stuff, right? Taking care of my mom and taking care of myself. And it was necessary. And I'm grateful for all of that. And I got to experience life without all those things and saw how easy it was for the mind to become distracted, absorbed, trapped, and to become a victim. And, over time, I started feeling kind of alone and like, man, I have all these, friends in the outside world, but how about my friends in the devotional world? You know, um, how am I associating, and how can I associate more with them? And then as I was contemplating this, I had the opportunity to catch up with my dear, dear, dear god brother, Manasa Krishna Prabhu in Australia. And we were both so grateful to have each other's association. And that's when it hit me. Boom! The second stage, Sadhu Sanga, association with the devotees. as a result of being able to remember Gurudev, because we both lived in India at the time when Gurudev was there, we were both serving and we both had many similar experiences, very funny experiences and stories, and very special experiences and moments with Gurudev. And we spent some of the day on Saturday, just this past weekend, remembering those, having conversations about that. And I literally went from feeling tired and bogged down to feeling electric and excited and inspired, so much so that I was like, I gotta go, it's time for Gurudev's video. And every Saturday here at 7:30, Chinmoy Prabhu plays videos of Srila Gurudev or Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and I was like, I can't miss it, I have to go, because of the Sadhu-Sanga. And so because of the association of Manasa Krishna Prabhu, a devotee, Sadhu-Sanga, I consider, right, I felt more inspired to receive more Sadhu-Sanga and to go and hear and be surrounded by these wonderful devotees, and to hear Gurudev speaking. And funny enough, if you haven't seen it, I encourage you to go scroll down the page and find the video on Saturday that was played of Srila Gurudev, and listen to that darshan. It was so wonderful. And what's interesting is that he was speaking about the things that I was discussing with my devotee friend. And so that world of synchronicity, of positivity, of possibility, of enthusiasm, right? Of motivation, of inspiration, of not caring what people think and who's there and who's not there, and just going for the treasure, made me realize that another way that Maya can show up, right, is by blocking us from receiving these moments, these blessings, and these opportunities. And I'm going to side note that, bookmark that for just a moment. But because right now I want to highlight the importance of Sadhu-Sanga, right? And Sadhu-Sanga, if when I say Sadhu-Sanga, you don't have a clear picture of what that is for you, but maybe something that someone else said and it doesn't resonate with you. Because sometimes as a young kid, I'd be hearing, I'm just going to be real, I'd be hearing classes from the older devotees, and I was kind of like, and this is not speaking on anyone or any particular person, but just as a young kid, just hearing these classes, sometimes some of these concepts were like, oh my god, right? Like boring, or like, oh, like, I don't really, okay, like, are we done with the sermon, right? There, it may not be alive, right? Perhaps in certain moments, those things weren't alive for me yet. But then there's these little moments that we experience by Gurudev's mercy that then takes a concept that we've heard in a lecture, in a class, and it brings them to life. And now we're having an experience, a realization that is alive. And that experience and that realization that is alive, first of all, it becomes alive within you, and then it puts you in motion. And it's like the gym, like exercise. Like, if you are inert, you're going to continue to want to stay inert, right? It's going to be very hard to get up and exercise. Same with our spiritual practicing life. Once you get off the train, it becomes very easy to be like, oh, you know what? I don't want to go to the class today or to the temple because so and so is there, and I just don't want to deal with the drama. And this can often be, an experience that we have. Oh, I don't want to because honestly, like, da da da. And that's us, functioning from a mindset that may be out of practice or may be getting tricked by Maya, right? All the different ways that we knowingly and unknowingly prevent ourselves from receiving the blessings that are available, right? And I was reflecting, as I was sitting there in the temple room on that Saturday evening watching the class, and my friend was also watching from Australia, and it was just so awesome that we both felt so inspired by Srila Gurudev's memories and pastimes, and we hadn't spoken in years, literally years. And then that inspiration snowballed into going and listening to his darshan, and then receiving even more and receiving even more, and so many more blessings, right? And it was a result of going to the temple that evening that I solidified, yes, Maharaj, I'll be able to start this Monday, right? If I wouldn't have gone down there, I would not have made that confirmation. I probably wouldn't be here right now, coming back to this service opportunity. So what I'm saying is that we can either choose to be on this frequency of inertia and become out of practice and chew on the chewed and, go into the, you know, join the fear party and, get trapped in all those conversations about the chewing of the chewed of all the chaos that's happening in the world, which again, I'm not belittling. It is real. We know there's so much suffering. We're not belittling that. But we have the opportunity to shift our frequency and to receive, take shelter of what our gurus have literally, you know, they're taking birth in this material world and running themselves on both ends of the candlestick to create and build temples, communities, books, darshans, classes for our benefit. And we have the opportunity to receive those blessings. And not if we're busy chewing on the chewed and tripping and gossiping and being melancholy and being like, oh, I don't want to go today because so and so is like so annoying, right? We can choose to either be there, or we can choose to shift the channel and remember that Maya comes in so many ways to prevent us from having that association, right? Because she's really testing us. And so this aha moment came from that sadhu-sanga, from that conversation, from that remembrance, right? And so I just want to go back to, there's 9 stages of bhakti, but the first 3, I feel like we're still trying to get a hold of that, right? We're still trying to make that consistent and constant. What's the first one? What's the first stage of bhakti? Who can say? Hello, Dandavat Pranams, Jagamohan, and we have Haribalava, and we have Mikey Vasquez, and oh, Madhava, and Bob Wood. Darlene's here. Yubarani, I'll read your post in a moment. Dandavat Pranams, thank you for being here. But who can remember what the number 1 is? Okay, anybody? What is the first stage of bhakti? Please comment if you remember. Okay, I'm not seeing any comments, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you, but pay attention, all right? So the first stage of bhakti is Shraddha, faith. Okay, so developing faith, developing, oh, okay, we got a response, Shravanam. That is one of the 9 processes of devotional service, on point, but that is one of the 9 processes of devotional service, right? So hearing, but actually, Dipta Krishna Prabhu, that's perfect, because how do we develop faith, right? How do we develop faith? By Shravanam, through listening, through, in the association, Sadhu-Sanga, right? We're not just going to have Sadhu-Sanga and watch the football game, right? We're going to have Sadhu-Sanga and we're going to engage with the spiritual content, even though it is transcendental, right? I'm just like remembering Gurudev watching the news, etc. It's transcendental. We don't know what kind of benefit we're getting just from being there. But through hearing, we are, hearing the scriptures, through a deep listening, right? We are able to develop a faith and a connection to that faith. But what really also propels and encourages that faith, and what gives us that Shravanam, is association with the Vaishnavas, right? Sadhu-Sanga. Sadhu-Sanga is number 2, one of the 9 stages of bhakti. That's the second stage of bhakti. What is it? Can anybody remember what I just said? What is the second stage of bhakti? We have to remember these things. Sadhu-Sanga, the association of the sadhus, the devotees, the Vaishnavas. Yes, Jagamohan, you get an extra rasgula. Ding, 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 ding. That'd be so cool if we could actually ship rasgulas out. Mahara skulas. Um, so, and then number 3, bhajana kriya, performance of devotional service. The performance of devotional service. So I was thinking about this. Um, there has to be some faith, right? And having the association of the Vaishnavas gives us that faith. And it also gives us the opportunity to hear and to remember. Um, and that's cool. But what I find is even more cool too is when we have that devotional service, right? When we have that devotional service, it's like we can have all the gym equipment and we can have the knowledge with how to work out with the gym equipment, but you kind of have to have that accountability and that practice, right? You have to be regular in order for it to have results. And so I find that bhajana kriya, that performance of devotional service, is the training, is the regular schedule that keeps us on point, right? It keeps us in shape. It keeps us showing up. It keeps us visible, right? Like, for example, having the classes regularly on Monday keeps me, I'm always reflecting on these things and, doing my best to remember, but having that opportunity, that this moment right here, me sitting here in front of this camera, is a service opportunity for me. And this was given to me by Srila Janardhan Maharaj, right? So this service opportunity is making me show up. It's making me remember. It's making me share. And it's also simultaneously creating a container for all of us to have association with each other, right? So devotional service is a really important ingredient. And devotional service doesn't just mean, and not to belittle any kind of devotional service, but it doesn't just mean like, it's not actually an activity of maybe like cutting a potato or cleaning with a mop or this thing or that thing, or, devotional service includes many things, and it's actually a lifestyle, right? It's a lifestyle, but it means having a way to offer your energy, so in a container of sadhu-sanga, so that it can encourage not just yourself but also others, right? And this is how I'm defining it, because I like to think about these things and reflect on, well, like I can hear someone just talk, but what's my living experience and relationship to these concepts and these words? And so as I was reflecting, I find that devotional service is that training, that container whereby more auspiciousness is created and accountability is created. And it also gives sadhu-sanga, which is the second process of, or the second stage of bhakti, and it gives us faith, right? As a result of that sadhu-sanga, that conversation with my dear friend, Manasa Krishna Prabhu, and hearing the pastimes, remembering Gurudev's pastimes, my faith was increased. And the increasing of that faith caused my desire for sadhu-sanga to increase. And the desire for sadhu-sanga increasing led me to want to engage in more devotional service. Do you see where I'm going now with this? They all start, right? They all start becoming one mean machine, right? And I'm saying also that, don't we want to become mean in a good way, a mean bhakti machine, right? We want to have bhakti not just be something that we like do one day a week and then we're out, right? But we want bhakti to become a lifestyle. And please make this a lifestyle, because I will say to you, bhakti is becoming very popular in the modern day yoga communities. And, they may not have that source and that connection like we have to this guru varga, this lineage of gurus. And so we have the opportunity to make bhakti a lifestyle in the highest way, in the purest way, by the blessings and the efforts of our Guru Varga. And so that leads me to the 9 processes of devotional service, right? And how can we engage in bhakti and make it a lifestyle, right? Again, bhakti doesn't just mean coming to the temple once a week or twice a week. Bhakti doesn't just mean, cooking an offering for the deities and we're done, right? Bhakti, right, is this process of making our entire existence be engaged. We're kind of like um um in we're kind of multifaceted, right? The bhakti practice is multifaceted. It's asking for our full existence to be engaged. And it's not just about giving, 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 and selfless service, 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 outside, outside, outside. It is also about nurturing the jivatma. And guess what? The jivatma can pretty much only be nurtured by a substance that has the ability to nurture it. And guess what the news is? Prakriti is kind of ephemeral, uh, short-term gain, happiness slash nurturing. Unfortunately, Prakriti is kind of like, those movies where you're in a dream or whatever. There's a dream and they see this like big table of all this delicious food, and then they start eating the food only to realize it's a dream and it's not real. They can't take the gold with them, and the food is actually sand, right? So, unfortunately, Jivatma cannot be fulfilled by Prakriti, earth, fire, water, ether, air, the elements, the things of this material world, but it can be fulfilled by Chintamani, right? It can be fulfilled by Shabda Brahman, transcendental sound vibration, Krishna Katha, right? It can be fulfilled by a substance that is higher than it. And so the 9 processes of devotional service are delivery systems for that Shabda Brahman. And when we say transcendental sound vibration, we're not just talking about ear sound. Transcendental sound vibration is also a vision. It's also an activity, right? We've heard that Krishna can taste with his eyes and see with his ears and all of these kind of things that happen. And we're like, whoa, right? And the deity is transcendental. So in the same way, the 9 processes of devotional service are Shabda Brahman, transcendental sound vibration delivery systems that allow us to condition properly, in a good way, our existence with the Sambandha Gyan, the soothing salve of Sambandha Gyan, of transcendental knowledge, sound vibration, experience, activity. So just like we have these 9 gateways, right? Ears, eyes, nose, genitals, mouth, we have all of these entrances into our system. And, these gates are the gates through which the soul can leave or souls can enter, etc. This is also how we can revolutionize, condition, transcendentalize our current vessel, our form, and start to awaken, just like when you're in a gym and you start working out, you start to awaken muscles maybe you didn't even know existed, right? So that we can awaken our spiritual form. So this Shabda Brahman, this transcendental sound vibration, this sound vibration, which is not just sound vibration, but also Nama Rupa Guna Lila, right? It's vision, it's engagement, it's everything, is entering through the delivery system of the 9 processes of devotional service. And that is hearing, Shravanam, right? And hearing from our spiritual masters, right? Who are selfless. They are not speaking or acting as gurus to gain some fame or some followers, right? Or to gain some position or power. They are not, placing themselves in that position. They are here to share, to deliver this medicine, right? To deliver this message, right? So that we can begin to attune our experience, aligning our body, mind, and spirit, our full experience in bhakti, so that bhakti can become a lifestyle, a practice, not just something we do on Sundays, right? And so this delivery system, this 9-step delivery system, is a complete system for learning how to engage our entire being in bhakti. How do we make it a lifestyle? Well, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Parasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam, right? And my computer's over here and I have a couple things pulled up, so I'm looking at those notes. We know the Bhajahure song, right? Shravana Kirtana Smarana Vandana Parasevana Dasyade Pujana Sakijana Atmani Vedanam Govinda Dasa Abhila Sare Bhajahure Mana Shri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charana Ravindare, right? Bhajahure Mana Bhajahu, come on, dance. Oh, my mind, dance, right? To the name of Sri Nandanandana for Abhaya Charanara Vindare, clasping the lotus feet of the Lord, destroys Abhaya Charanara Vindare, right? Charanara Vindare. Bowing down and clasping onto the lotus feet destroys all fear. Ha! Right? Take a deep breath. Receive that, right? Allow it to land. And, with an inner focus, just take a moment to reflect. I just really want to invite everybody that's here how and what your life can look like when you begin to engage in this practice, in this process, for yourself, for your own nurturing and nourishment, your own upliftment. This is truly a forest fire of, right? This material world is a place of suffering. We're experiencing that. As a 10-year-old girl, I'd be reading the Bhagavad Gita and I'd be like, what are you talking about? It's great. I eat rasgullas, I play in the trees, my mom feeds me prasadam. Like, this is so cool. Like, what's suffering? I don't have any more questions about that, right? So we know all the negative things. We know, and we're not belittling them or pretending they don't exist. We're not spiritually bypassing and pretending they don't exist, but we are choosing to continue to engage in that stream of consciousness that destroys fear, that reminds us of our good fortune, why we're here, our existence. And so, whoever you are, first of all, please pay attention to what your mind is doing every day. What are you engaged in, right? And this isn't like a blame shame kind of conversation. This is what I do with myself, right? And I'm just inviting all of us, right? How can we continue to self-reflect? Like, where is my mind going every day? What am I doing? And when I'm looking at people, what am I thinking? Am I, having a transcendental vision and tuning into that frequency and remembering that we are Jiva soul, that we're in service of our guru, that we are here to spread the holy name. This is not about kind of kamini pratista, fame and glory and power and all the things. What is this about? And what is most important? Because Kamala Dala Jala, Jivana Talamala, any minute, snap! Any power you think you have, bye. Any fame, any position, out the door. So perhaps the lesson is in not focusing on those external things, but rather eye on the prize, right? Like the story of the warriors being trained and coming up to the line. What do you see? The tree branch and the get out. What do you see? That got out. What do you see? The roll out, right? And what was the correct answer? What do you see? The eye of the bird. What else do you see? Nothing else. Shoot the arrow. Now you can shoot the arrow. So this kind of focus and conviction, we're not going to have it all the time, but we can at least intellectually remember smaranam, right? Remember that we have that opportunity, and that the more we can just continue to sadhu, what are the 9 stages? Okay, let's begin with the first of the 3 of the 9 stages of bhakti. Can anybody tell me? Please comment. What are those 3 stages of bhakti that we talked about? The first 3. Please comment below. And, as I'm waiting for those comments to roll in, this is the formula, right? This is the process, right? And so it doesn't have to look like it does for this person or that person. You can make it your own, right? You can make it your own and take it within your own heart. But Shraddha, faith, Sadhu-Sanga, association with the Vaisnavas, and Bhajana Kriya, right? Engagement in devotional service. And so those must be there. This must be the foundation upon which we are walking, basing our existence, followed by the 9 processes of devotional service, right? Hearing Krishna Katha, chanting, speaking the glories, right? Choosing to tune into that frequency, choosing to tune into that channel, right? And then remembering, smaranam. That's what sadhu sanga's for, right? It's for remembering. It's not for um, plotting the latest drama or, you know, it's not for any of those things. It's for remembering the past times, for remembering the medicine, these messages that uplift. Because again, this life is very short. You can choose to engage your mind in this thing, or you can choose to engage your mind over here. Let's think more long-term gain, right? The more we can focus on the long-term gain and not the means goal, the means to the end, but what is the ultimate end goal? And guess what? The end goal begins in the now, because in the spiritual world, in the world of, you know, um, the Vaikuntha Nivriti, or in the world of, you know, the Nirguna plane, in the world of transcendental service, in the world of, you know, the origin of the Mahamantra, that plane from which all of this is coming, there is no past, present, future. There is only the present moment. And we are Jivatma. We are, our origin is closer to the spiritual world. This place has become the place where we come because our mind is not in alignment with the highest frequency or with the mood of service. So that's why we come here, right? We're still kind of attracted a little bit to the dark side because we kind of want to rule over it, right? Bad chess game. Bad chess game. Right? The world of, you know, devotional world is eternal, and every moment is the present moment, and every moment is being engaged in service. And what is that service? It's experiencing complete alignment and connection to love, affection, bhakti. And again, I don't know anything about this, but I've heard about this, which is why I can't really elaborate there. But we've heard about this, and we can actually live in that state of consciousness and create that reality within this existence. But we have to kind of engage it with the tools that we've been given. And so again, the 9 processes of devotional service are the delivery systems, right? We are engaging our hearing, our speech, our mind, our actions, our heart, our ability to give of ourselves, to surrender, right? We're engaging all of these, right? In the service of spreading the holy name in a way that is pleasing to our Guru Varga, in a way that is in harmony with the mission that they've established. And it's not about you. It's not about you or me. It's not about that. It's, you know, about co-creating that experience in the mood of service. The minute the I gets in the way, roll out. Next, right? So pay attention. Where is my mind going? Where are my actions going? How am I using my vital force? And any day that I don't get to, you know, chant the holy name and share this message and remember and have that frequency in my being, man, is a day where I have cheated myself and given in to the advertisements and the pulling of the distractions of this material world. And so let us make every single day victorious by engaging in that frequency that, to be quite honest and frank, supersedes that low vibrational egoic frequency of this material world. I, me, mine, right? The world of self-acclaimed gurus and, you know, Insta celebrities and all of these things that we see going on. It can be so easy to become infected by these things as well, right? So we have to be mindful and be honest and sincere and observant. There has to be, Shravanam isn't just like da 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 da. I sit in the temple room and I listen and kind of space out and I did my Shravanam today. It's much deeper than that, right? Shravanam, deep listening in everything that we are doing. That Shravanam isn't just like I Shravanam it out in the temple room and I Shravanam it out with my japa and I Shravanam it out with my book. No, that deep listening is happening with wherever the capacity, the function of listening is happening. That Shravanam practice is engaged. Sure, maybe some gossip comes to you. You're asking to Gurudev, please reveal to me what is the meaning behind this? What can I learn from this experience? How can I, and this is ultimately where we do become positively super selfish and self-sufficient. How can I benefit from this lower vibrational thing that's happening? Why, how is it? Please reveal to me why this is coming to me and how this is to be engaged in your service, in the evolution of my being and my ability to practice bhakti. How can this help me? So I encourage all of us, including myself, and I kind of like this concept as I'm saying it, wherever there is the function of Shravanam, of speaking, chanting, right? Of remembering, of service, of worship, of praying, you know, wherever these 9 processes of devotional service, their original functions like hearing and all these things that we've just talked about, it pertains to all those places. So bring it into your life and pay attention what you're seeing. How is that going to, you know, and if you don't know the answer, because oftentimes we see bizarre things and bizarre things happen and we don't know the answers and it's overwhelming, but that's where the 9 stages of bhakti roll in. That's where you call your homies up and have your sadhu-sanga, right? That's where you get to engage in devotional service to kind of burn away some of the previous, cleanse the palate of the world of exploitation, and where your faith can be deepened. So I just want to leave you with that. I hope that you've found this helpful in some way or another. And I hope that my words land, even if they're piercing or sharp or heavy or go explore that for yourself. We stirred something up. You're welcome. No, I'm playing. But for real though, like we have to be willing to hear, right? Even if it sometimes means seeing things within ourselves that we don't like. We have to be willing to see those things and feel those things and hear those things and not spiritually bypass them. We have to be willing to face them. We have to. We have to. Otherwise, our progress is just a decoration. So we're not interested in just being little, you know, superficial observers, practitioners, and recipients. We want to really, really, right? I don't know about you, but I really would love to. So we have to be willing to look at the good, the bad, and the ugly, and to reflect and to apply the medicine and to be able to confide in those, you know, friends that inspire us in that direction. So thank you so much for being here, and I hope that there's some inspiration there. If you have any questions, please feel free to message the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Seva Ashram page, and we will answer accordingly. If you have any questions for me, also please feel free to comment in the comment section below this video, and I will answer these questions, maybe not today, but next week. So please keep tuning in. We'll be live every single Monday at 5 p.m. By the grace of our Gurudev only, or the, grace of Providence as well. And looking forward to seeing all of you for the Govinda Mela. And I see Rasangi is here. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I am making Bhakti a lifestyle every day. I'm glad you resonate with that. And I also hope I get to share some classes for the young people, for everyone. Yeah, so feel free to request that if you have an inspiration, and if you have an inspiration for any particular topic. Let's see if we can make that happen. I know in the past I've shared some workshops and classes at Govinda Mela. Hopefully I'll be able to be a part of this one. I live here. We'll see how that goes. I'll be here. So hopefully that opportunity will come. And just welcoming here Manu Peralta, and I see here Bhakti Bandav. Puri Maharaj is watching here, Dandavat Pranams, and we have a message here from, let's see, I saw it earlier, from Yubarani, who is saying, Dandavats, Yubarani from Quito, Ecuador, happy to see you, and just remembering all of the memories of our time together in India. I can't see any more from there. It won't let me click on it, but thank you so much. And so many Dandavats to you and all of the devotees in Quito, Ecuador. Dandavat pranams to everybody. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be in service, and looking forward to seeing you all next week. I may be doing the live stream sometimes from my room at the ashram, and sometimes I may also be in the temple room. It depends on the day and what I have going on. But I figured I can't let that be an excuse from stopping me, right? That is for sure. That was also an excuse. Oh, I don't have. So I figured, by hook or by crook, right? I'm gonna do this. So sometimes I may be in a different location, and just know that we are calling in our Guru Varga and Sri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari to continue to bless us and to keep us at their lotus feet. And Dandavat Madhu Krishna from Sincelejo, Colombia. Haribo, Madhu Krishna, Dandavat. Okay, all glories to Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardhan Maharaj ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Soquel Seva Ashram ki jai. And jai Saparikara Sri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju ki jai. Also, some Seva opportunity if you haven't seen on the Facebook page. Krishna Priya Didi, who takes care of Tulsi Devi. They are luckily growing and expanding, and she's in need of some tools for her service. So go check it out and see if you can contribute any donation towards the Tulsi Devis here. We have so many beautiful Tulsis. We're so lucky to have all the Tulsis here. So if you are in service or able to be in service in that way, go check it out. There are always service opportunities. You can always ask and check in. And yes, Dipta Krishna Prabhu, Nitai Gaud Premanande, Haribo, Haribo, Jai Gurudev. I cannot wait to see you all next week. Any comments you post, I will see them later. And if you have any questions or topic suggestions, post them. I will read them, and we'll talk again next week. Okay, I don't want to leave. Let's see, what time is it? Oh, 6:05. Time for me to go. All right. Hare Krishna. Next time we'll do a little bit of kirtan as well at the end. All right. Dandavat.
Vaidikara Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju Ki
Jai.
Srila Bhakti Bhavan Janardhan Maharaj Ki
Jai.
Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki
Jai.
Srila Bhakti Rakat Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki
Jai.
Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki
Jai.
Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki
Jai.
Sri Rupa Nuaguru Varga Ki
Jai.
Dhamacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki
Jai.
Saparshad Sri Nityananda Prabhu Ki
Jai.
Saparshad Sriman Mahaprabhu Ki
Jai.
Shuddha Bhakti Vigna Vinashaya Sri Nrsimhadev Ki
Jai.
Bhakta Prabhar Sri Prahlad Maharaj Ki
Jai.
Shri Baladev Subhadra Jagannath Ju Ki
Jai.
Vrindavan Purushottam Dham Ki
Jai.
Shri Navadvip Dham Ki
Jai.
Shri Mayapur Dham Ki
Jai.
Shri Ganga Jamuna Ji Ki
Jai.
Shri Bhakti Devi Vrinda Devi Tulsi Devi Ki
Jai.
Srila Bhakti Nirmala Charya Maharaj Ki
Jai.